T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad. Welcome to WWT Live. We got a lot of birthdays today, so we'll get into it. But first, before I introduce my co-host, shout out to Emily May. She is one of the hosts for Women's Wrestling Talk. It is her birthday today, so make sure you go and show her some birthday love. Now we are going to get into, we're just gonna do a little different, like we did it last Friday. Both our co-hosts in Kay McCoy and Gerard Barner. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Alive and kicking.
I'm a little upset because I matched with this woman named Indy in Orlando on Hinge, and she just unmatched me for some reason.
This guy.
She just I thought we had great conversation. I actually talked to her. I spoke with her. I communicated how I felt because apparently her last boyfriend and husband didn't. And then all of a sudden, out of a blue, she just unmatched me. She's gone. This Indy girl. Yeah, I don't put her on blast too much, but. Did something happen on Tuesday or something?
Maybe. I do know one thing that happened on Tuesday, which I'm not getting off topic. I'm just throwing this in and we're just going to breeze by it. Last night, I caught up on some dude called Manti Te'o. That's all. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At least my Hinge date was actually alive and existed and was real. So,
there's that part.
When she disappeared on me, she was a real person.
So I caught up on that, and
See, now you have to do the N1, and then they also have Caitlyn Jenner on that same series.
Oh, they do. So I saw the preview for the N1. I did not see the Caitlyn.
N1 is sick. N1 is sick, and it will make you. It's just issues that the culture deals with on a regular basis.
Like the N1 mixtape.
Yeah,
the N1 mixtape. Oh man, I love that. Okay, they have another one. They've had a lot of those. I love those documentaries. I'm gonna wear a very, very, very baggy shirt and a do-rag with a headband on the do-rag and another do-rag around the headband and a hat and a fitted. For the culture.
There it is. For the culture. Who has what for us today?
Kane, are you up first?
Yeah, I'll set it off, man, because NXT was very interesting. We're going to get into all the NXT recaps later on with G Money out here. But one of NXT's biggest stars, Gigi Dolan, a part of Toxic Attraction with JC Jane and NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose, is out of action with a concussion. We now know the reason why she was suddenly not on Monday Night Raw to compete for the NXT Women's Tag Tournament. I'm sorry, for the WWE Women's Tag Tourney. We saw her on Friday Night SmackDown looking amazing. We were marking out here on WWT Live, seeing Toxic Attraction on the big show. They're ready-made. They're main roster ready, and it just unfortunately sucks that she has suffered a concussion. They pulled her, and that's the reason why she's out. So was Friday Night SmackDown kind of like a preview of them bringing it up. Unfortunately, she was prone to this concussion, so hopefully she'll get the proper tests, the proper rest, not come back too soon, because you know how these head injuries go, and she'll be back with Mandy and JC very soon. But shouts to Gigi Dolan, shouts to Toxic Attraction. We'll hope to see you back soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to, I mean, with wrestlers, we just never know, because sometimes they may be injured, and sometimes, you know, if they might be on vacation or some time off. So, and these head injuries in these type of sports, you have to be very, very careful, especially when like you're younger, because you don't know how it's going to affect you when you're older. So hopefully, with, you know, technology and all that stuff, she'll be okay first, and then if she wants to get back in the ring, that's an option as well.
Yeah. So shouts to Gigi Dolan. She does have a concussion. She'll get better. Hopefully, it wasn't either anybody's fault in the ring between, because people on the web are saying Natalya or Tamina because they were wrestling them. I'm sorry, Natalya or Sonya, and it's just like, come on, fam. It's professional wrestling. Things happen. The most interesting part, though, will emerge that if Gigi Dolan has a concussion, does she emerge back post-concussion, remember who she is, and comes back as a flying tampon? Check the indies for that. It's a throwback, folks.
Wow.
Edutainment here on WWT Live.
Yeah, I knew that reference, and I feared that was coming. So.
I understood the reference. The reference means.
Yes.
That's what it is here. So get well soon, Gigi Dolan. Can't wait to see you back, mama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of people, speaking of no bloody way this could have happened, let's talk about No Way Jose, okay? No Way Jose has been accused of stealing money, fam, for an AEW tryout. Now, this has been a very, very interesting case. We've just recently heard about No Way Jose being on AEW Dark. We saw him appear, and he tweeted about it. He has an amazing Instagram account if you haven't seen it yet. But No Way Jose, we know that when he was in NXT, he was like the party-like atmosphere, dancing with the dancers. I think of him as Dominican Republic Adam Rose. It was kind of like an Adam Rose thing that was going on with that. But he was at the Dark tapings. However, it's been accused of stealing money. There's a promoter by the name of Graham Keem who went to Facebook, which is still a thing, people. People still complain on Facebook. I mean, nowadays people just take their complaints to IG and Twitter, but he went old school with it and complained on Facebook, saying that No Way Jose flew to Orlando on his dime. Like, his dime, and that he didn't work the show that the plane ticket was for. So basically, he says that No Way Jose took his plane ticket and used it for AEW. And I'm like, no way, Jose. No way that could have happened. No way. But apparently my man's grand promoter is saying, yes way, this has happened. No, not the wop wop. Oh, man. Yes way, it happened. So that's interesting, like, because No Way Jose, obviously, he isn't wrestling as No Way Jose. We know him as that, but he's wrestling under, I think, is Levi Valens or Levi Valens.
Yes.
Is this indie name that he's been going by for some time. I think we saw him in Impact Wrestling for a little bit under that name as well. So it's interesting to see Levi, No Way Jose hasn't responded yet, but come on, fam. I hope that's not the case. I hope you're not out here doing that, man. Come on. Say it ain't so. Is that No Way Jose's new gimmick? Say it ain't so?
Well, it's interesting because the thing is, if that is the case, this is where contracts and legal stuff come into play. Like, I feel like for instance, if I were to fly Kane to somewhere to do a job for Women's Wrestling Talk, best believe there's documents, there's conversations, there's receipts, either via email, text message. There's a contract already in play so that if Kane doesn't do the job that is required of him, I don't need to go to Facebook. I either say, hey, you didn't do the job, therefore, here are the receipts. This is what you owe me. Oh, you don't want to owe me? Okay, here's my lawyer. My lawyer will talk to you. Oh, you don't want to do any of that? Then we go to small claims court. Like, it's really that simple, opposed to the court of public opinion. So what is I want to say No Way Jose? Is he gonna like, oh, well, you said it on Facebook, therefore it may be true. Therefore, I'm going to give you your money back. Like, how do you, what he does give him his money back, but then it's not documented. Then he now says, you never gave me my money back. Like, it's a very, as a business owner, like, there's a lot easier ways to get this done. Like a lawyer, getting a call from a lawyer gets things done very quickly.
Very fast. Very fast. And I don't think No Way Jose wants to deal with that. And it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, like, you know, we've all been in spaces where you travel to a city, you travel on somebody else's dime. Like if you want to go see a friend or something, you always arrange that around what you're actually in the city to do. That's your primary focus. You get that done first, and nobody else pretty much controls what else you do. So I don't know if the time for this AEW tryout was going to conflict with whatever he was there to do. But if he wanted the tryout that bad, then obviously either do it on your own dime or at least make sure you take care of what you were sent there to do first. Right. Obviously, he didn't do that if this is the case, which is bad business.
Well, the situation we're trying to figure out is, did the guy book the ticket? Because this promotion seems to be in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, you idiot. In Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Big trust is Chris Jericho. So did he give him the money and say, buy your ticket? Or
did
was
he
it
book
already
the ticket?
Booked? Exactly. Because if the ticket was booked, then he had no choice but to go wherever the show was. Or did he send money to No Way Jose? He was like, you know what? I'm going to send myself to Orlando. That way to Orlando. A one-way ticket to Orlando and wrestle for Dark. And apparently this guy, not that this makes this right, but the promoter may be an anti-vaxxer. The pandemic. So if the show was in Canada, maybe No Way Jose wasn't vaccinated and couldn't show up in Canada, so decided to go to Orlando. Maybe it was just like, all right, I'm gonna just own this dweeb for taking my money. So
that's so
you know, stay tuned.
All
but listen,
allegations.
All allegations. Yeah, this is all speculation.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see the video. The guys at Primo's Canada, he talks about it and speaks about it, and of course, he tweets about it on Facebook. Talks about Facebook as well. But I think it's funny, man. I think it's one of those things that it's going to be a he said, she said thing until we see the paperwork. If it was verbal and spoken upon, then to the promoter, congratulations, you played yourself. Get some paperwork, fam.
Yeah, even you don't even need something like super legal. It's just an email saying, here's the price of the thing, here it is, you're going to show up at this date, you're going to wrestle these events. Then he just signs an automated signature or whatever, but as long as it's sent with it from an email, like you're good. So
absolutely. Yeah, you definitely want to do a contract with a wrestler named No Way Jose. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That way, Jose, can you see what you're doing?
No.
That was good. That was good. No, that was good.
That was worth every womp we have. Every womp we have.
You can just see what's going on, but you know,
yeah.
All right, babe. What else do we have?
Well, switching gears, we're going to head to something that's near and dear to my heart. Of course, last week was the premiere of Battle Slam, the TakeOver Night 1. It featured, of course, the in-ring solo debut of Little Scrappy against Baron Black. It was crazy, an amazing night on Fight TV. Well, guess what? It's not over. Battle Slam, the TakeOver Night 2 premieres tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fight TV. Nice. So there's a number of things that are happening on this one. One of the things that is a thing with Battle Slam is obviously it merges hip hop and pro wrestling. So there is a performance from a hip hop artist by the name of King Roscoe. You guys want to see this. It's really, really cool. And then some really dope matches are up, including Anthony Ogogo from AEW taking on Kevin Knight from New Japan, which is a big deal. Queen Aminata. If you have never seen Queen Aminata, you need to see her in the ring. She is who I consider to be the flagship for Battle Slam. She's got to have a triple threat match against Ashley D'Amboise and Shalance Royal. I love her gimmick. It's really, really dope. Caprice Coleman, who you've seen doing work, of course, in AEW and Ring of Honor in commentary. Also in the ring in NWA. He's got a match against Richard King. And speaking of Ring of Honor, the boys, who are 2/3 of the 6-man tag champs from Ring of Honor, they will be wrestling Culture Inc. So it's going to be a great, great card. You don't want to miss it. Again, it's going down tomorrow night on Fight TV, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. I'll be doing commentary for that along with Shug D. It's going to be special, so make sure you guys check it out.
Boom,
nice,
boom,
homie.
boom.
Can't wait to see
I'm
it. Really,
to that.
Yeah, really excited for Queen. There's a really good match against her, and I've discovered her when she was wrestling Roxy. Maybe about a year ago. Now Roxanne Perez in NXT, but I think this was back in maybe Booker T's promotion.
That sounds right.
Reality of Wrestling, but it's about last year, and that's when I just first discovered her when looking for Roxy. So she's really dope. Check that out. Excited for the OG Caprice Coleman, who was most likely your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, like OG Caprice Coleman. So really excited to see that. Going to be a dope card. Of course, Gerard's going to be on there calling the action. He may throw a chair. Watch it to find out. I'm excited. By the way, Lil Scrappy, if you ever seen the first one, what a promo by Lil Scrappy. Great
Wasn't
promo.
that promo crazy?
Like he has a really good promo, Lil Scrappy. He really doing his wrestling thing. He's taking it way serious than like you might think he would, but it's a great promo. It's a great package. Fight TV is free. I highly recommend checking out Battle Slams. It's just for the culture, for wrestling fans. It's really awesome. Yes, do that.
Thank you.
Very true, very true. Definitely look forward to it. What else do we have?
Also, we have, and this particular story is near and dear to me and to us here at Women's Wrestling Talk, because when you think about how large women's wrestling has become, a lot of times we think about it just in the States. And of course, we've had the women's revolution, evolution, all of that jazz. But for the first time in the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan has announced the creation of the IWGP Women's Championship. Now, I can't stress how significant this is. New Japan is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year.
Wow.
50 years, and they've never had a women's championship. So in Japan, of course, they've really kind of kept things separate. There is women's wrestling that happens there primarily in a promotion called Stardom. There's also another promotion called DDT, where they do have some mixture of women and men, but the DDT promotion is more of the entertainment side of pro wrestling than what you're accustomed to seeing from Japan. So a lot of the reason this is starting to happen is because now New Japan and Stardom are owned by the same folks, Bushiroad. So that's a big deal, and it's now creating some cross-pollination between the two. So one of the things that we saw happen early at the top of the year was for the first time, Stardom ending up on Wrestle Kingdom for New Japan, which is their equivalent of WrestleMania, which is a big, big deal. So here's how this is going to go down. There's going to be a 7-person tournament that kicks off on October the 2nd in London. That's going to be the international side of things. And then there's the Stardom side of things for round 1, which will happen on October the 22nd. The Stardom bracket has 4 wrestlers. The international bracket will have 3 wrestlers, which will include one that has a bye. The finals will happen on November the 20th in a crossover event between New Japan and Stardom. Now, one thing that they're teasing, and I'm really intrigued to see where this is going to go, Stardom has announced that there's going to be at least one major international talent who they're describing as an unbelievably famous non-Japanese Joshi wrestler. And they're supposed to be announcing who that is on Friday. So there's all kinds of speculation in terms of who that could be. Could it be Paige, aka Saraya? Could it be one of 2 other people whose names we have not mentioned and won't mention for quite some time? It could be a number of people who show up for this tournament. And it makes you wonder what they're going to do. But as you can see, the very pretty belt there for the new IWGP Women's Championship. Again, this is massive. The first time in New Japan's history that they'll have a women's championship, and the tournament kicks off at the top of October.
That is exciting. We, of course, saw what happened at Wrestle Kingdom, as you said, G. I mean, I think we're going to slowly start to see the inclusion of NJPW having women's wrestling as part of the card and almost essentially merging Stardom into one. I think that this is the start of this. Stardom definitely has about I think like 7 or 8 championships at the moment, which is a
have
lot. But
Yeah.
I understand how they book. They kind of book in terms of the idols, if you will, which if you know about Japanese culture, idols are very just like popular, celebrities that are worshipped. That's kind of the way that the women have been booked as far as the Joshi goes. But I think with this, you're almost the equivalent will be what the Divas division was into a women's division. Okay, so we're gonna kind of get away from the kawaii-ness, the cuteness a little bit, and really showcase these as wrestlers because these women be wrestling, bro. If you have never seen Stardom, and if there's anybody you need to look at Stardom, just look at Kari Singh clips in Stardom. From her jumping from the turnbuckle on the outside, straight onto somebody's chest. Like, which is my prediction, who will actually be the first IWGP Women's Champion, Kari Sane versus Saraya in the finals. As soon as I saw that immediately is what came up with me. Now that we know the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the former ones, will probably be showing back up in the company, so that kind of blows up my,
allegedly, we don't know nothing.
Yeah, we don't know nothing yet, but it seems to be that way with, Hana in charge. So I don't think we're going to see them in NJPW like I thought. So with that, a good audible is seeing Kari Sane and Pay and Saraya get busy for the championship. So that was kind of my first as soon as I saw it. So we're gonna stay tuned and see. So, but again, with Bushi kind of running New Japan and Stardom, I think we're gonna see more of this and kind of like that consolidation and which was going on. And I think like crowds can actually kind of cheer again. I saw at events finally, so they can kind of like make a little noise, Of course, the Japanese crowd was never that raunchy in the first place because of a different level of respect when watching the wrestling, but they can kind of really react to the moves now. So, slowly but surely we seeing Japan and New Japan and Parasol open up with a lot of things. So I'm excited for this. But watch Kari Sane jumping on people's chest. It's amazing. Well, yeah.
Women's wrestling. It's just so crazy to see how it's developed to this point.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that in the car today. It's like, we had, the bra and panty matches, but even before that, they were just more of a, here's a few women wrestling, but it's like once in a while. It was never a thing. And now it's like legitimate matches, and we have school, like it's amazing to see, and I'm eager to see where it's gonna end.
Women's wrestling is no longer a special attraction or a popcorn match or a bathroom break. It's the meats and potatoes of cards. It is very important pieces of shows, of angles, of storylines, of pay-per-views, of cards, and we're seeing that reflective all over now, more than ever before. So it's dope because wrestling is wrestling at the end of the day. It's wrestling. And we want to see it. So excited.
We tune in to watch wrestling. I love it.
Yes, we do, baby. We're wrestling like a car.
What else do we have?
Now tell me if you want to go to NXT, do you want to go to Flair?
Let's do
let's do
I have some news on Flair too, just looking at his Instagram. Did you guys see this?
Oh, what you got? Is
now that's interesting.
First ever dual photo.
I'm telling you, Flair has not met a dollar he does not like. I'm telling you.
His promo, he did. There's one promo. I think that's the one that you sent me. That's recent on Instagram. He pretty much said, "If you don't know who,
if you don't know who,
you don't know God."
That's exactly what he said.
I mean,
bars. I mean, like he still hasn't missed a beat.
Right.
I mean,
he still got it.
Richard Morgan Flair might be the greatest professional wrestler of all time when it comes to both sides of it, the flair, if you will, and the actual wrestling of it. I mean, everyone knows Ric Flair, 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! We all know what the 4 means. The platinum blonde hair, the robes. He might be the most recognizable wrestler to ever exist. And just generations know Ric Flair. Like my grandparents knew Ric Flair. You know what I mean? My parents knew Ric Flair. I knew Ric Flair before I was born. Look at my man with the zoomies cutting a promo.
In my penthouse suite, style of the profiling, wearing my Zoomies custom-made Ric Flair shirt. Look at the old actor. Look, I mean, look over here. Take the camera over here, young lady. Show them where Tampa is. Show them that's my yacht down there. I'm the nature boy. If you want one of these, you got to go to Zoom. If you don't know who I am, you don't know who God is.
Like
bars.
Get your Ric Flair custom-made shirt at Zoom.
Wow.
He's going to live the gimmick until the end, man. And even afterwards, he's going to live the gimmick. You know what I mean? Like
and we're going to keep buying this stuff.
And we're going to keep, I mean, you know, he's doing that. And of course, he has Ric Flair wings entitled Woo!
I saw that, yeah.
There it is.
They're called Woo Wings. I figured the wings would come like in a figure 4 leg lock. It'll just be 2 wings, like interchangeable, combined together. They're probably still working on that. But you can now wipe off your greasy fingers from your Woo Wings on your Ric Flair shirts from Zoomies. God knows what he's doing, man. He knows how to make a buck. Maybe he's going to be wearing that shirt when he wrestles his last match. He's going to come out in a Ric Flair shirt in his last match, you know, and then afterwards eat catered food by Ric Flair's Woo Wings. So,
I mean,
getting money.
Like I feel like he's missed his call. Like, obviously he has these other businesses, but it's like the era that he came up in was perfect. However, it was just kind of almost like if he came up a little bit later, like imagine, like say if he was now late 40s with all the energy that he has now, the amount of businesses, like all that, like you could literally make an empire out of this stuff. So I'm wondering where, you know, if there was like not a misstep or, you know, now because of the era that we're in, people are seeing, or his family or his people are seeing the opportunities. But the Woo Wings, like, that should have been a thing. Yeah. That should have been a thing a while ago. So
total thing. So shout out to him. And maybe he needs to connect with Rick Ross. I mean, like that just seems to make all kinds of sense. Rick Ross and the whole Wild Wings and with
the lemon pepper.
Wingstop.
Lemon pepper Wingstop.
You know what I mean? Like it just makes sense to me.
That is a genius idea. Boss and woo.
Yeah.
I take that
think
out
about
like
those
lemon
promos.
pepper. Yeah. And to think about it, like with the way Ric Flair's that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be Ric Flair's next tag team partner in his last match. Ric Flair and Rick Ross, Battle of the Ricks with chicken and we're gonna figure it out. Yeah. That's the match, dude. Hell yeah. And
they should go on that show. Was it the Hot Wings or whatever with the spicy wings?
Yeah, that show.
On that show, yeah. And the host should ask them like to like essentially cut promos about different things as they're eating the hot wings.
Ric Flair will melt in the mayonnaise if he eats hot wings. Ric Flair would just melt in the mayo, bro.
And he wouldn't sell it. He'd just keep doing promos.
he'll just melt in the mayo, dog. Like that'll be it. You know? So shouts to Ric Flair. I'm gonna have to place an order and buy one of those t-shirts. Do you guys know?
I thought you said the wings. I was like, that's a distance to wait for some wings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Uber Eats will deliver, but either way, whether I'm buying the wings or I'm buying a Ric Flair t-shirt from Zoomies, do you know how I'm gonna buy the Ric Flair Woo Wings and the Ric Flair Zoomies t-shirt? Dude, I'm gonna use my WWE Superstar credit card, baby, and I just paid the bill, so the money's gonna re-up on it, so I can afford it.
Oh boy, dangerous.
Let's be realistic for a minute.
Yes. Let's be realistic, baby. So that's what I'm going to use to pay for that. Speaking of WWE, G Money last night was NXT.
Yes, NXT was very interesting last night on the heels of the NXT UK invasion at Heatwave last week, and on the heels of this massive news about NXT UK going away, NXT Europe developing. What would all of this mean? Well, we got a much clearer indication last night as the show started with, in the same way that it ended, with the UK champion Tyler Bate and the NXT champion Braun Breaker talking in the ring. And there's a part of me that got sad when Tyler Bates said, I am the first UK champion and the last UK champion. So it is very, very clear. NXT UK clearly going away. And what we learned last night from NXT at Worlds Collide is that basically all of the championships will be on the line in unification matches, which should be very interesting. So the NXT and NXT UK championships will be unified. The tag team championships will be unified. And honestly, the moment and match that really got me the most excited was to see first Blair Davenport and Mandy Rose kind of have a conversation where it looked like Blair Davenport was going to challenge Mandy Rose, because the whole situation about the NXT Women's UK Championship was up in the air. Where was Mako Satomura in all this? We had not heard her name. And then her music dropped. Yeah, her music dropped, which clearly shocked the announcers. So now we're going to get a triple threat match merging those two titles between Mandy Rose, Mako Satomura, and Blair Davenport, which to me, that's the dream match. That's going to be crazy. We also saw, again, the details of Triple H's WWE just makes me happy. After Blair Davenport defeats Indy Hartwell sitting on the outside of the ring, lamenting, woe is me, how did I get here? It's pretty much time to quit. And then who shows up but her husband, Dexter Lumis? And the people go crazy. And I just was like, what kind of storytelling do we have happening right now, going across the brands? And then as soon as we think they're together, we see them now at the doors of the Performance Center as Dexter hands Indy a letter that says, goodbye for now. I'll love you forever, as he gets arrested. Ugh, sheesh.
Yeah, because he's a fugitive on the run. He kidnapped the Miz and has the body stored somewhere on Monday Night Raw. Like, he's a whole fugitive who is able to cross the border from Toronto, by the way, all the way down to Orlando, and had to see his bae one more time before turning himself in. He's an international fugitive from justice, but yet he would never run from love.
How about that?
Dexter Lumis, I tell you.
That was pretty impressive.
That was the part.
Today.
Thank you. I'm poetic. I'm poetic. Yes. I bought my poetry book from my WWE credit card user rewards packages. I spent so much money, they sent me one. Anywho,
you couldn't let the moment live.
I could have let it go.
If we don't get a credit card promotion by the end of this year,
I'm working on it. Come on, hey guys. But to your point, G, I marked out, and we've spoken about this on WWT Live, how we hope with Triple H's WWE. Crazy to watch, right? Like to hear that. I mean, we saw him losing like 12 seconds to the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 12, and now he's running-ish. Anyway, but we will see more continuity between the three brands and in the true WWE universe. And I loved when that happened. Dexter Lumis back on NXT, and just as quick as we had him, he's gone. The yearn for more. Does Indy Hartwell run after her man across the platforms? Does she try to
it's funny that you say that, because like her man came for her, such also happened when Santos Escobar came for the rest of Legado del Fantasma, as they too were lamenting like this whole life that we have to have now, you know, as part of the family, and Tony D'Angelo. And boy, pulling up in the black car is Santos Escobar saying, you didn't think I was going to leave you, did you? Oh, golly. The way I love what is happening right now in Triple H's WWE. So it's clear that we're going to get Legado del Fantasma. Now, I don't want to jump too far ahead in terms of fantasy booking, but there's a part of me that wondered, okay, now that we know Worlds Collide is going to happen, it's going to be the unification of all these championships. What does it mean for those folks in NXT UK? Do we actually think that the NXT UK folks are actually going to leave with any of these championships? And at first I was like, well, the way that usually goes, the answer is usually no. Usually always goes to the dominant brand. But then I had a thought. If indeed the rumors are true, where Triple H is looking to return NXT to its black and gold heritage, that means it's returning to more wrestling than entertainment. Braun Breaker kind of serves as Vince's picture of NXT and an NXT champion. Tyler Bate serves as Triple H's version of an NXT champion. So then my brain got it moving and started to think this could actually work in favor of the NXT UK folks. For instance, it's safe to say Mako Satomura or Blair Davenport could unify those titles, which now leaves Mandy Rose free to go back to the main roster since the rest of Toxic Attraction seemingly worked in that tag title match. It makes sense that they now invade and they go as a unit. This could really work as a massive hard reset for NXT and NXT Europe if they do it right. So this now again makes Worlds Collide very, very interesting, and all that is happening during All Out weekend, or maybe we call it Clash at the Castle weekend because we're probably more interested in that than All Out, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, exciting night on NXT last night. Spicy.
Yeah,
I kind of, what are you gonna say, Kane?
No, I would just probably say the same thing you're gonna say, TK. It's a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
Yes.
There were scheduled for, remember, a WWE draft was scheduled to possibly happen in September, maybe, because they had, SmackDown people booked for September Raw, and then Raw people booked for a SmackDown later that week. And reports are that WWE told USA Network that, hey, that's going to happen until after WrestleMania 39. So I think Worlds Collide is going to kind of serve as that quick reset, to get everything established, and then post WrestleMania 39, which will be the first WrestleMania sans Vince. That's when we're really going to see that new era really begin. But I think this is right here is kind of putting the puzzles and everywhere, see what happens. Will there be NXT European champions? Or will we see an NXT universe where there's an NXT here and NXT across the bond, and they're literally going back and forth wrestling for the titles, and you treat an NXT and NXT Europe like Raw and SmackDown. You know what I mean?
Right.
Except you have the champions bouncing between both shows, almost like back in the day when it was just kind of one heavyweight champion between both shows.
Right.
But we're going to see, regardless, there's a lot of speculation, and that's good to have. There's excitement that, like, there's a level of, oh, wow. Like, I mean, no one even thought about this or fantasy booked this, so I'm really excited about that. Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker. It's going to be an absolute banger, dog.
Banger.
But again, it goes back to almost like when the titles get unified, again, what happens to NXT Europe? Then there's no way it's just going to be a titleless promotion. So does this get unified and you get rid of the UK? Because I just figured they would have changed the UK title into the NXT European Championship, as like the main title, and then European. So, but so in the words of the great Drake, we gonna see. But Worlds Collide, it's gonna be massive. September 4th, down in Orlando, Florida. Same weekend as Clash in the Castle. WWE gonna get busy.
It's gonna be a crazy time. I feel like maybe Triple H is taking a page out of like Marvel and DC. It's like there's two things could happen, but the brilliant thing, which I think we were all calling for, is like, even though this person's name is here, you can't just change the person and pretend they never existed. And so I feel like that's a very important thing. And then same thing that you were saying, G, where it's just kind of like NXT may be gone, but that doesn't mean that because we did talk about 21 people getting cut, but that doesn't mean that some people aren't going to still be in the promotion. And why can't I just don't want it to be like it was before, where it's like, oh yeah, NXT still exists, and maybe 2% of the WWE universe actually watches it, but nobody makes note of it. The announcers don't talk about it at the main roster, so it's just like whatever. So I think everything is going to be in a good position. So I'm looking forward to it. What do we have next?
And real quick, one last thing. You know what else I like about this is the fact that NXT is going against, if you will, just earlier on the same night as an AEW card. It's almost like Triple H ain't forgot about the Wednesday Night Wars. Triple H ain't forgot about any of this. And to have, NXT and AEW all out back to back, it's kind of like Triple H is saying, we still here. Like, I see what's going on, and I heard you talking. So let's see how it goes down. But AEW, speaking of AEW, right, TK? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
AEW.
Yeah. Big show tonight. I mean, it's Dynamite. It's Wednesday. We're in Cleveland. And there's a title unification match. Jon Moxley, the Don't Call Me interim AEW World Champion, takes on the true champion, CM Punk, in a title unification match. Oh my goodness. What's going to go down tonight? Because apparently moving it up from All Out was the idea of one Jonathan Moxley. Yes. AEW sources indicated that Moxley was in favor of the move. This is according to our boy SRS, Sean Rossop of Fightful. And he indicated it was his idea, and, eventually Punk agreed to it. So who knows if this is connected to the talks about Punk being unhappy, and of course the talks of Punk possibly going off script against Hangman Page on last week's episode of Dynamite. But it looks like this match is going to happen. I'm thinking it was going to be like a dusty finish, and they'll save it for the pay-per-view, not on basic cable, not on free TV, which is very shocking. But I think it depends if the match opens the card. Like, if this match opens up Dynamite, then we might get an actual finish or a dusty finish. I think if it ends the card, we're going to get like a true winner, and maybe somebody returns tonight. Maybe a guy known by 3 initials shows up and says he's the real guy. He should be running AEW and finally get his due. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting tonight to see what goes down.
Very, very true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We do have an after show with Alicia Salazar coming on for AEW, so definitely check that out. What you're
I can't believe they're going to go full. I can't believe they're going to go full WCW here. Like, I just no way. Something has to be happening.
Yeah, it boggles my mind, actually. I mean, a week and a half before this pay-per-view, really, there was no question that this is the match that was drawing us all in for All Out. We've been waiting for months to see the title unified. Punk comes back. It's in Chicago. It just makes sense that this is the main event. So if this match happens tonight, which it's scheduled to happen, no clue what this does for the main event. What's even crazier is we haven't heard much of an undercard for All Out either. So, I mean, we know, like, okay, the trios titles will be decided there, but we don't even know who's going to be in that match, right? So we don't have much of an undercard to say, yeah, take my $50 so I can watch this pay-per-view. So the draw was Punk and Moxley. The idea that this was Moxley's idea and they agreed to it, I just want to know what the conversation was and what made Moxley go, guys, this is it. Because I don't get it. I mean, if this is the match for the pay-per-view, you are obviously going to make a lot more money by putting this on pay-per-view than you will having it on free TV. The question is, what do you do there? You obviously don't want to do the match again. So what goes there? This is probably why we have to watch, because we don't know what's going to happen. But with that said, I don't know what this means for this pay-per-view. And that actually concerns me, because if you only do 4 pay-per-views a year, AEW, and you're taking what many are calling the biggest match in your history and putting it on Dynamite, what do you have to follow it? I don't know. I really don't know.
Which is why I'm thinking we might get a dusty finish or swerve, or something might go down, that if there's an actual winner, someone comes out to challenge Punk or Moxley for the championship. Remember, CM Punk walked out of WWE on a show he was scheduled to wrestle in, where? Cleveland, Ohio. So we've seen how Punk has kind of been straddling works and shoots and doing work shoots, as far as, referencing his time in WWE, saying to Eddie Kingston he's the second best Kingston he's been in the ring with in the locker room or something like that. And, like that type of situation, and kind of referencing to his time that he was really kind of better than this place, if you will. So who knows if with him with now it been a year in CM Punk's contract, because I don't know if we know the length of CM Punk's contract. Just on the top of my head, I feel like that's something we would know. It would have been 4 years, 3 years, however it would have been. So who knows if there's reports to him being unhappy. Maybe we aren't being worked. Maybe it's like legit coming out that he's like, you know what, bro, I won again. I had my run. Cool, I'm out of here. Because the initial
Actually,
CM
according
Punk,
to the Sun.com, it says, according to Fight Fans, Punk's deal with All Elite Wrestling includes a lucrative wage bill of $3 million per year over the next 3 years.
Yeah, it's definitely a multi-year deal.
Okay, I don't know if there's like an opt-out or anything like that, but it just seems like something major's happening. Or maybe that's just a way to work us and to tune in. John Moxley's from Cincinnati, Ohio, a couple of hours away from Cleveland. So this is basically a home game for Moxley, if you will. So could he be the first? Will he be the first two-time champion? Official two-time champ?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, I know there's interim, but I think he'll be like the first official two-time champion. So to have that take place in his hometown or in his home state, coming off what he's come off, which was just earlier this year, by the way, that he returned from his stint in rehab. So to kind of come back from that and to reach that pinnacle again and be champion with fans. Remember, he was champion during the pandemic run. So, which I'm happy no fans were in the audience when we had that massive explosion in the next death match with him and Kenny.
Oh, Omega. I was in the audience for that. I was there for that.
Yeah, really?
Yes, I was there for that.
So it was like a limited audience.
Yes, it was a limited audience, about 25%, and I was there. Here's what's crazy: most of the match looked amazing, right? But when that ending happened, it was bad.
Oh,
it was
God,
it was
like,
not good.
All right.
So we all were like, no, and then yeah, it was very underwhelming.
I've seen more fireworks with grandmas getting shanked during COVID than this. You know what I mean? It was more explosions during that situation. But AEW tonight, we're all going to tune in and watch. And we'll see if Hangman Page also makes an appearance and kind of get some things off of his chest. You know what I mean?
So I will say this, and this is part of where I'm concerned. Regardless of what the result is tonight, this does not play out well for their storytelling leading into All Out, because they had gotten a reputation for a bit for telling good stories over a long period of time. The MJF stories, the Cody stories, the Hangman stories, like those stories over time, they were doing really good at it. It makes me wonder, are they starting to panic with Triple H at the helm now? And now they feel like they just have to throw some things out there and not commit to what it is that has made them All Elite. Yeah. There's an interesting quote that's floating out there from Tony Schiavone, who said, people on the internet are going to be upset to know that things in AEW aren't nearly as bad as they say they are. And I'm sitting back going, they aren't nearly as bad as they say they are. So Tony Schiavone, you're saying they're bad, but not as bad as they say. Okay. So it really makes you wonder what the environment really is in AEW. If in fact the long-term storytelling that they had really prided themselves on doesn't seem to be happening. Because if somebody shows up tonight to now hop into the main event picture for All Out, you're giving us 10 days. So now you're just trusting the fact that's not enough time. You're trusting the fact that everybody's watching every single show and they're catching every detail. That's clearly not happening. So yeah, I want them to win, and win from the perspective of stay around and still do what it is that you do well. So I think now they've got to figure out what that is, because I don't think they know what that is anymore.
And that actually leads to the next story with the CM Punk and him saying that the reports that are going out there, which is really interesting, because I feel like if CM Punk, out of all people, was not happy, he would say that he wasn't happy publicly. So who wants to take that story?
Well, we kind of. Go ahead, G.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we had kind of hit on that earlier, like a little bit, like what's being shown here. There's rumors, and CM Punk straight up spoke with Justin Barrasso on Sports Illustrated to address the rumors, and says that he feels creatively fulfilled in AEW. And he wanted to set the record straight that he enjoys working there and he doesn't put too much work. And Punk says, quote, yes, 100%. Try not to put too much stock in internet rumors, but for AEW, I definitely think that's part of our audience. Twitter's not real life, though. On top of that, I Lie makes his way around the world twice before the truth puts his boots on or gets out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And Punk continues, if I addressed every rumor, I'll be here all day. I love AEW. It's not a competition of who loves it more or who's the heart and soul and who's this and that. AEW allowed me a second chance to do what I do best, and that's professionally wrestle. Of course, he will kind of contradict himself because Moxie said he's the heart and dime, to which Punk replied, well, I'm the dollars and cents, or Moxie said that he's the heart and soul, and Punk was like, well, I'll be the dollars and cents, fam. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me on that? But I think with Punk kind of addressing it, I think that kind of shows that where there is smoke, there is fire. Obviously, it's come out that him going against Page was kind of him going into business for himself. We all thought it was weird. It looked weird when he was just kind of caught. Mm-hmm. We were waiting for the music to hit, and we was like, right. Oh, the music's gonna hit eventually. Pregnant pause. Wait, nope, it's not gonna hit at all. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right, mm-hmm. That's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. All right, that doesn't do the character any good for Page. And Punk kind of really buried him, which goes against everything Punk said when he came. He said he's here to come and elevate the guys. But of course, the rumor is that Page didn't want to drop the title to Punk. It's the rumor. Page didn't want to drop the title to Punk, and he was going around saying, I'm going to drop the title, but I'm not going to get a rematch, which is true. Page hasn't had his rematch, and he's gone down the card significantly that he's declining offers to even be in a trios tag match to get gold back around his waist. And, with the opportunity to be the first Triple Crown champion in AEW to hold the World Championship, the tag team, and now the trios, you turn that down? That doesn't make any sense. So I think there's some legitimate issues there, and they're going to have to address it. It seems like in AEW, there's just a few guys who are doing their own things, and that's Punk. It seems like Punk is booking himself. He's just kind of doing his own thing. And I feel like
it might be in his contract, though, so we don't know.
Book Kenny Omega and like maybe Cole, you know what I'm saying? They're just booking themselves and they have creative control of however they want to do, and they have that offer, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people know about creative control, TK, including this man on a special day. Special day today. Mm-hmm. I don't know why we're even working today. Yeah. Why are we working? Why aren't federal offices closed? He beat the government in court. Federal offices should be closed.
Not this time, or at least not yet. So, yeah, it is, last but not least, the birthday of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who today turns 77 years old. And so on a day that is usually filled with lots of pomp and circumstance from the WWE, the WWE Universe, and the wrestling world at large, today was kind of quiet. We did see an Instagram post come from Stephanie wishing her dad a happy birthday. But what was super interesting is just how quiet the WWE's Twitter account was when it came to Vince McMahon. There has been no mention of Vince McMahon's birthday today on any of WWE's social. There's Stephanie's post for her dad, and it is, again, happy birthday, Dad. Pop, right? Not the creator of WWE, not thank you for all you've done for our sport, that we would not have this genre of entertainment and athletics without you. None of that. It was what a daughter would tell a dad. But the WWE got even more interesting because not only did they not mention Vince's birthday, but instead they wished a happy birthday to the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, whose birthday is today. The Rock's dad gets a birthday shout out today. Not that he's not deserving. I mean, he is historically one half of the first African-American tag champions in the WWE. So that's significant. But usually you'd expect Vince McMahon at age 77 to get something. But it furthers the proof that WWE is distancing themselves from Vince McMahon at all costs, not even acknowledging the day of his birth.
I mean,
which is weird to me.
Yeah,
like
they told Vince, "Hey, bro, you've been out here paying for enough cake. Okay, so we're gonna have you."
That was a good one. I'll give you that one.
That was a good
one. We're just gonna, high and buy it from Steph, Dad. You know what I mean? It's a family thing, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First of all, Flair is 73, right? Flair is 73, and Vince McMahon
yes,
is
he's 73.
Them being 4 years apart is just amazing. I think Joe Biden is 79, so there's a lot of like old white dudes just roaming around America. Like, man,
roaming around America.
Wow.
Wait,
yeah,
wow.
just roaming around.
You're roaming in the White House.
I mean, former President Trump is 76. So it's a former president. Biden, shout out to Biden. Whoever has student loans, you might want to go and check and see.
Yeah, today's a good day for that.
Yeah,
check that. Biden is 79, so he's gonna be turning 80 in November.
Wow. One of our oldest presidents, for sure.
One of our oldest presidents, and Vince is 77.
Yes.
So he turned 77 today, and then Rick.
Oh my gosh!
Flair.
And then Flair is 73.
73, so he'll turn 74 in February. Jeez, born in 1949, debuted in 1972.
My lord.
And in between broke his back.
Yes.
Between broke his back.
And still came back and had the greatest career. I'll tell you what else is interesting too. There's been absolutely no mention of Vince McMahon on Triple H's socials at all. It's as though his birthday. So maybe they're celebrating privately as a family, and publicly they've got to stay away. I don't know, but it is so apparent to me that they have made such. I mean, this is. I don't want to use that particular name, but we've only seen one other person really get this kind of treatment from WWE.
Correct.
Where it's like, we're gonna stay away. The day of your birth, we're not even talking about you. So, less than a month after he is retired, no shout out, no acknowledgement. There's still been no package to say thank you, Vince. Nothing.
Maybe they're waiting for everything to be tied up. But I checked both Triple H's.
IG, we're gonna get it at WrestleMania.
Twitter, and there's no mention. But it also seems like his posts, they're very sporadic. Like they're spread out. And with Triple H, it's kind of like you don't see a lot of pride. I remember there was one point where he was showing him and Stephanie doing workouts, but it's been a minute since he's done that. So
I think after the health scare, he really kind of backed off with some of the things that he posts and things like that. But
I wouldn't read too much into
I think it's one of those. I think it's just Vince getting that karma, because remember back in the day, he'll be like, happy birthday to the phenomenal superstar, the most amazing. It was a lot of adjectives to describe people, like his former wrestlers, current wrestlers, son-in-laws, whatever. But when it came to Shane McMahon, it was like, happy birthday at Shane McMahon. And that was it. So I think this is a little bit of that as well, as far as like with Vince, you're just going to get a Stephanie McMahon post, a throwback Thursday or a way back Wednesday post, and we're gonna call it that. See you later. Watch SmackDown this Friday. Thanks.
That's part.
That's gonna be it. And
Shane McMahon's IG is inactive.
And his Twitter, his last post on Twitter was on April the 8th.
So he's probably living his best life. I think we were talking before the show started, and we won't get into this whole Nick Cannon thing, but it's a different type of money. Like, if you on a different tax bracket, posting on social media when you can send your friend a boat is two different things. Like, which one do you want? Do you want me to send you a boat, or would you get really butthurt if I post, if I don't post a happy birthday to you? I think I would want the boat. I could care less about the social media. So I think it's a different tax bracket thing. And, I think social media is cute, but you don't have to deal with it and you could still make money.
Listen,
come on, man.
And you raise a great point.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that with it being Vince McMahon's birthday and he's retired and he's trying to find a new purpose for life.
I don't think
you know what I mean. Retire asterisk back from the scenes. With all these children that Nick Cannon is having, Vince McMahon could be the babysitter. Nanny.
Thank you.
Old wise man to give him butterscotch candies out of his pocket.
Vince is not trying to do that. Not with Nick Cannon's children.
I can imagine. You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
They can have a whole Samoan dynasty, but just with the Cannons.
Well, I'll go ahead and say happy birthday, Vince. We are certainly glad that you were born.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons why WWE didn't, and I don't think we'll ever be privy to those reasons. However, I think it would also shout, like I said at the top of the show, shout out to Emily May. It's also her birthday today too, which I didn't know they were both on the same day. That's kind of cool, or
that is
ironic, whatever. Anyways, it's just kind of one of those things where he's still alive, like
he is.
And nothing has been. He's been removed from his position. However, it hasn't come down where it's like you owe this amount or whatever. Like it hasn't been. You haven't been proven guilty of anything just yet. So like, why not at least a post? But again, there's probably reasons. It's kind of like when you anybody's familiar with Gary Owen, he's a comedian. He was on Breakfast Club yesterday. Big divorce thing with his wife. And, and this is what I was talking about as well. Once the lawyer sends something or legal's involved, it's better not to communicate with that person at all because anything will be used against it. So maybe there is something legally that just like, we don't want to step in any of this. We want to just make sure that everything is clear, that we can give you the proper send off when everything is squared away. So,
and we're going to get that at WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania, Hollywood, we're going to get the big package. Vince might show up and say hello and goodbye for one last proper time. So again, until then, happy birthday, Vince McMahon. Happy birthday, Vinnie Mac. Happy birthday, Vince McMahon. Although with recent allegations, no chance in hell he's getting a birthday sex tonight. It's not happening. He's just going to be at home, reading a book, watching the network.
All right. On that note, where can we find you?
On that note, there we go.
Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Bonnerfied on all aforementioned platforms. SHW, Southern Honor Wrestling. You can check out all of our content on independentwrestling.tv. That's IWTV. There's an app for that, all that jazz. You can use the promo code SHW for your first 5 days for free there. Battle Slam Night 2 from the TakeOver premieres tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Fight TV for free. So check that out and all of the things that we have there for Battle Slam. Also, you can check out Championship District Wrestling on YouTube. Look at their channel. The debut show is there. I'm doing commentary there. And I'm doing commentary for the Nightmare Factory Student Showcase 6 that is now available. Cody Rhodes does the intro. It's really, really cool to see the new students that are coming out of the Nightmare Factory. And if all goes well, I may be doing commentary for that again this weekend, and that'll hit at some point in the future. So, yeah. Check it out. Fun things are happening.
Nice, dude.
The man
nice.
with 1,000 jobs. Kane McCoy.
Unfortunately, you can follow me at Kane McCoy, CainMcCoy. Follow me. I might be doing a Twitter takeover today of the account of at Vince McMahon. Just tweeted my birthday thoughts.
Anywho, you can follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. Definitely go and check out our website. Shout out to everybody who's been going to our website, reading the articles, all that other stuff. Numbers look great. I appreciate it. Definitely go and check out all our social media stuff, WWTalkPod. Check out our TikTok, WWTalk. And you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. We will be back on Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, which I was looking at the time. It's going to be a little tricky, Kane, to get down to WOW, but also you can see Kane and I at WOW on Friday in some capacity. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but here we are. Other than that, you can follow. Other than that, thank you guys for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao, guys.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.